this picture, right? And you can see it's a sidewalk, and yet there's this lovely little yellow flower coming out of the crack. And to me, this really symbolizes 2020, okay? It's a challenging time. It's somewhat, it seems kind of desolate, but wherever you are, I mean, this slide is really meant to say bloom where you are planted. So, it's a matter of, at this point, we're how many months in, we're going to gracefully accept the situation, okay? Because really, I mean, life isn't a dress rehearsal, right? So we've got to make lemonade somehow. And so that's what this slide is really depicting is, I know that so many people are stamp collecting and it's analog or philately and, oh, the online, the virtual. Well, I'm preaching to the choir because you are all here. However, you've probably heard those sentiments, but you know what? We've got to bloom where we're planted. This is the situation that we're in, and we're not going to let the hobby die or fade out just because we're undergoing some very unique circumstances. Nay, we shall bloom. And why? Because we are people of innovation, okay? Join us on the award ceremony or the celebration recognizing the coming out of the innovation stamp. That's what this hobby also inspires, is innovation. And we're really fortunate to live in a time where we have all these great tools where we can connect. And let's harness that. Let's harness that innovation, shall we? Now, for those of you who are here, I am going to be speaking to you. You're the host. You're the people that I believe have that medicine, that aura, that archetype of being the host. And that's really the most important thing that you can do in terms of building community, is you can be very welcoming. If you're a shy person, I really encourage you to stretch yourself. Whether, those of you who've seen me on Snapchat, maybe you guys think I'm the most outgoing person in the world. Actually, I'm, rather shy, and I have to push myself. I've gone to Toastmasters. I've put myself in really awkward situations just because it's a muscle to be a host and to be welcoming and to be gregarious and outgoing and engaging. And you can read books about it. You can watch YouTube. You can dream about it. It's really an exercise. And that's one of the most important things in terms of building community, is taking on that archetype of the host or the hostess and engaging and being friendly. That's the name of the game. Okay, my years in customer service, that really helped polish my skills. And I know a lot of other people, most jobs have that element of customer service. So dial that in, even if somebody's annoying you. Again, this is a really great opportunity when you're building community to develop your character and yourself. So blooming where we're planted and developing that sense of being a host, being gracious. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, the tofu and the veg of all this. It's about getting social. And yes, I'm going to talk about some of the more analog tools that we can use, but for right now, especially in this time that we're in, where we are needing to socially distance, it's really important to know your tools, okay? Now, you're gonna notice this little share hand on a lot of slides, and that's really what I want to take. I just need to make special note that you put that in your mind, graciousness, lemonade, and sharing, okay? Sharing is caring, so it's really important. Okay, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have YouTube. These are 4 really unique platforms. What I would suggest to you, and I would imagine that you've already done this, but perhaps you haven't. I would suggest that you visit each one of these platforms. Okay, a lot of us are quite familiar with Facebook. If you're within a certain demographic, Gen X to baby boomers, you feel very comfortable on Facebook. What you might not feel so comfortable on is Instagram or Twitter. YouTube is the second largest search engine out there after Google. So I would make the assumption that you're pretty familiar with YouTube, whether it's to insulate your house or how to clip your dog's nails. You've been on YouTube. Facebook is it's a great social platform. It's now expanding upon that demographic, not just the Gen Xers to the baby boomers, but because they're adding things like meeting rooms and Messenger is being used as a marketing tool, the demographic is spreading out. And James Gavin talked about that on one of our Stamp Chats. So you can be sure to go check out the YouTube channel on APS Stamp Chat. He speaks specifically to Facebook. Facebook is chatty. That you can create a group, and therefore you can, you can invite members and approve them. That's pretty cool. Or like the Empire State Postal Historians, they just launched a page. And so that's a great way to let people know that you're around. People are using Facebook in lieu of a web page, and that's totally acceptable. A lot of chatter, a lot of great sharing opportunities on Facebook. Twitter, you are limited to, X amount of characters. What is it? 140 characters. So you want to be concise with your language. I find the philatelic conversation on Twitter really engaging, and it's fast. Whereas on Facebook, you want to, you post maybe once, twice a day. Twitter, if you're a talker, if you're a chatter, if you have a lot to share or you see cool things, Twitter's going to be your friend because you can engage with it a lot and people won't accuse you of overkill, which is nice. Instagram is known collectively as a younger person's platform. Nevertheless, don't let that scare you. It's an oasis. From what I see, it's very much built on the aesthetic. You cannot post without a picture, an image, so that's pretty unique. And you really want to capitalize on beauty and optimism. That's where stamps, whether it's the messaging, the semiotics, whether it's the detail, the engravers, you can really show that off. I have a really good time going around the building here and just taking pictures of the various artifacts that we have on the walls, or the trinkets, the USPS trinkets that we have. And it's a place just for a snapshot. Instagram is fun like that. So again, Facebook, you can imagine it as kind of like the sun, and where all the participants are the various moons and planets, and it gravitates, it pulls in lots of people. Twitter, people are chat. Instagram, gorgeous. And then YouTube is where it can all connect. You could start, for example, say you have a stamp club. You can easily start a YouTube channel and just pull from all over. I would have to say American Philatelic Society, of course, Exploring Stamps, Philately Things, Richard Morrow, TED Talks. There's all sorts of philatelic programming on YouTube, and you can build playlists on YouTube, and therefore when you're trying to prospect new members, go to Kalamazoo YouTube channel and check out stamp collecting, and there you have it. You have a really nice playlist. When you're using social media, it's really important to post regularly. There's nothing more dead-end-ish or like kind of depressing than seeing a Facebook page or a Twitter feed or whatever, where the last post was, 2018. That's again, that person who's the host, or those people, say you have, several outgoing or trying to be outgoing people in your club or organization, that's part of being a host, is making regular engagement. And if you find that you don't want to overburden one person with the social media aspect, then get another person. And or one thing that I did in a previous previous life, previous profession was I would allow people, I would hand off uh, the, the, the posting to someone in my group or a fellow employee, and it would be kind of a takeover. So you get to give yourself a break so you don't have social media burnout, which is a real thing. And then you get to refresh your group's page or their Twitter feed, et cetera, with just kind of a new angle, a fresh voice. Now, one of the things that's come into, style, and we're on it right now, is the video platforming. You can't go wrong. And in this day and age where we are, it is necessary for us to socially distance and avoid crowds. Video conferencing is your friend. I know that there are people out there who are hesitant or they feel like they can't do it. Somehow you got to get on the phone with these people and walk them through. I have been on various services or various workshops, and age isn't a problem. It's really intuitive, particularly Zoom. Facebook just launched these cool groups. So for our ambassador program, for our APS ambassador program, I'm hoping to give this a shot and see what the Facebook group feels like. That's, where it's very similar to Zoom, but you're doing it on Facebook, and wow, you get to see all the faces, and it's like a club, of course. It's like going to, the Legion Hall, but you're not there, but you're together, and that's the name of the game. So Zoom, extremely popular. You're probably familiar with it. Like I said, the Facebook has just started something similar. The little icon with, the red and the pink, that's Instagram, that's IGTV. So you can use Instagram for a video conferencing platform, and Google Hangouts. Again, sharing, that's the name of the game. You want to be able to share that you're having a Zoom or a Facebook Messenger group. It's always about inviting, right? Being that gracious host. How would you like to come to my blah, blah, blah? That's the name of the game. Something important that one of my bosses brought to my attention, so I'm going to bring it to your attention, is managing the expectations of your community get-togethers, okay? So, what do? We learn from our mistakes. So it depends on what kind of meeting or plan that you have. So manage people's expectations. If let them know whether it's going to be something, a lecture or some, very easy going. This way you don't have fallout, all right? Again, it's being a great hostess or a host and letting people know what to expect or anticipate ahead of time. That's really key to, setting the table, if you will, setting the table. So people really don't like surprises, especially, it's their time, right? When you're inviting somebody to an event, it is their time. And so you want to be able to respect that. Again, graciousness, being a host. So to get specific, to drill down, if you will, what I'm referring to is, depending on what sort of soiree or function that you're intending to host. Maybe it's a lecture. Maybe it's a share and tell, a casual chat, projects, group sorts, or book groups. Let your participants, let your club members know what type of event that it is that they're saying yes to. And the reason why I chose this slide, I know that this is not philatelic in nature, but it is embroidery, and that's a hobby. Okay, so I'm also looking to various different groups, and again, another boss helped me figure this one out because his wife is really into embroidery, and he said, why don't you check out what that hobby group is doing. So I thought this was a really cool idea. They have crafternoons. That's very cute. And they embroider together. So who's to say that as stamp collectors, as philatelists, we couldn't do something similar, whether it's doing some stamp art or mail art, or having, just keeping your cameras on as you sort. It's a cool idea. Now, again, you're managing your expectations. You want to be creative about the type of get-togethers that you're having. Okay, so we've got that. You've got that formula. Now what I'd like you to do is start to take that and, cast your net, cast it. You know, in your world that there are scrapbookers, there are people that are really into their family genealogy. You know that people love architecture, history, American history. Oh, I love Vietnamese culture. Guess what? If you're having something, a to-do that remotely activates that excitement of that friend who could be a scrapbooker or really into Laotian culture, invite them. Crafting, that's big on so many different levels. Sorting, people love to just organize and be together. Cast your net. Once you've figured out what it is that what kind of do you're having, of course, invite the choir, but then, put the line out and invite more people. Invite people into the hobby. Something like this is going to go over gangbusters. Who among us doesn't love food? So you could have, you might want to consider in your community building, thinking about going with your calendar, 12 months, once a month, a food on stamps. That's really going to draw people in. And from all sorts of backgrounds. And we know that there is a stamp for everything. So once you invite a person who is not a philatelist or a collector, and they see, oh my gosh, there's food on stamps, there's portions, there's this on stamps, guess what? You've just hooked somebody on such a beautiful hobby, okay? So use what's on stamps to your advantage to cast your net and community build. We have a really cool repository, if you will. It's on the stamps.org website under the news, where we have this, it's a continuing story where APS clubs can let us know that they've gone virtual. So once you decide to activate that virtual button, do us a favor and let us know so we can promote it. And you'll see on the other side of the slide what it is that we're looking for you. It's very easy. You can take a screenshot or get your phone out right now. Otherwise, go to the website, stamps.org. That little recipe of what we're looking for from your clubs is right there. We're trying, as the mothership here, as the American Philatelic Society, we're trying to be the handmaiden here of all the virtual clubs. So people, wherever they live, they can go to a stamp meeting, a stamp club, any day of the week, anytime. So please feel free to put your information here. You can email me at heidi@stamps.org or the aparticle@stamps.org and let us know. These are meant to be public, so if you have a very private group, just never mind what I'm talking about. But this is really geared to you clubs and organizations that invite people and would want people to come join you no matter where they're from. A newsletter, super helpful. I'm still of the ilk where I love a good paper newsletter, love it. But, and I take a pen, nerd. But unfortunately, because of the prohibitive cost of postage, those paper newsletters really don't exist anymore, but that's okay. However you want to do a newsletter is fine, whether it's on Word, whether it's on, Pages. MailChimp offers a free newsletter. I think it's up to 80 recipients. Don't quote me on that. Go over to MailChimp and you can put it in your Google browser or your search engine and put in MailChimp free, and there's the information. But newsletters are an excellent way to encapsulate your information and pollinate that information. And again, there's that share button. Encourage your members, your organization, your friends, share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Your newsletter, friends, is basically like this. Again, this is, to me, I'm like a moth to a flame when it comes to a bulletin board. A lot of people, when they're out traveling, they want to go to this or that. I want to go to supermarkets and I want to see the bulletin boards, because that's how I get a chance to see what's going on the local level. So imagine your newsletter as your bulletin board. Obviously, it's going to be more organized than this, but extrapolate all the various aspects of your club. What's on the docket for the month? What are the different talks? Again, managing expectations. Introducing your club members. That's really important. That should be a column. An evergreen column is introducing your members and their stamp story. That is a classic winner. Stamp stories, people love them. Is there a recipe? Again, food is one of those universals, or some sort of pairing. Feature a pretty stamp, that you can find on the web, and then a recipe. Have a look at magazines and what are their evergreen topics, and try to weave that into your newsletter. So you're hitting people, whether they're a kinesthetic learner, or, more cerebral, or they're really into food or history. You can do that. Within, say, 8 blocks, you can hit people. There are certain archetypes and that you can resonate that information, and then encourage your members, your friends, share. There is something for everyone in philately. That's what is so beautiful about our hobby. I know we're coming down the home stretch here. This is a beautiful touch, and this comes from Tom Bowman. He is one of our APS ambassadors, and he sends out postcards. Okay, that's first class. That's just mwah. I've always believed in cards. That's how I got into the hobby, is because I'm a correspondence nut, okay? I go through a book of stamps in a week just because I love to send letters. And there's nothing like receiving something in the mail like this. You can touch it, you can, you see the pen, the handwriting, and it's very personal. So especially now, in this time of COVID, it's just a beautiful, tender, gracious touch. If you have the budget, if your club has the budget, but pop for it and send out a postcard. It doesn't need to be to all members all the time. Just kind of a little, hey, remember? If you haven't had a club member who's active in a while, maybe send them. Or if somebody's done a bang up job, or you had a new person come to your club, your Zoom, send them a postcard. It really makes a huge difference. And you're using postage, which helps and supports the USPS, of course. To send a letter is a good way to go somewhere without moving anything but your heart. So I happen to love this image. Not only does it have beautiful stamps, but it speaks so much to correspondence, and that's what we do by nature. We correspond, and that's really how you put a nice, tidy, pretty little bow on all of your efforts for community building. Remember, as you're trying to promote and encourage others to join us, whether they are fellow philatelists or not, remember, you're spreading good cheer. You're spreading all things that are wonderful about life: geography, traveling, the soothing nature of an analog hobby, togetherness. As an anthropologist, I honestly don't think that there's a better hobby or endeavor than stamp collecting. And so as you put on your hostessness, your host suit, and you're kind of this quasi bumblebee pollinator, I want you to think and be empowered by, I am spreading good cheer. I am spreading diplomacy. I'm spreading geography and education and learning and therapy. So let that embolden you and really get you excited about building your community. Remember, friends, we're here all the way for you. That's what the American Philatelic Society is about. Forgive me if we're the mothership. We're here to help you. So how to engage, share content. Okay, say you're starting from, nada, the ground floor. By all means, go to any of our social media platforms and pull the content. Share, share, and share. And that'll begin to build your foundation. I'm sure that you have plenty to put on there, but if you need a place to start, you can start with APS, start sharing. Subscribe to our newsletter, and and then I do encourage you to have a newsletter or a YouTube channel. Subscribe. That's going to help you with your traction and keep that's the stickiness, okay? And you want that stickiness from the people that you're trying to get to your club and your members. You need that traction. Subscribe. That keeps them connected. Invite. Again, back to that host. Constantly invite, whether it's through an email, sharing, picking up the phone, the postcard, okay? Be outgoing and do it regularly. You can't give up. Okay, again, this is really an opportunity to develop your character. This is much bigger than just, building your club. It's about building your insides too, okay? The Tao of stamp collecting and community building. Give stamps away, okay? There are many boxes here in my community, in the local food community, loaded with stamps. A friend of mine, my best friend, is extremely creative. She's seen my loads of stamps and she's been decorating boxes. Boy, you should hear the exclamations that I'm seeing on the various local food pages. Oh, I got the box. Who knew this stamp, and they're from all different countries. So give stamps away, show people. And then again, send friends to, if there's cool content on stamps.org, send them our way. There's so many cool Facebook groups, Instagram, Twitter groups that focus on philately. Send the information to your friend. Oh, I know that you're really into Hungarian, I don't know, dolls. Guess what? There's a group of philatelists who just do Hungarian dolls. So seriously, there's a stamp for everything. And I don't need to tell you that. Again, this is kind of a full circle here, but we need to make that quantum leap. You're here, you've made that leap. You're on the virtual, you've grabbed that comet by the hand, you're here. Let's be cheerleaders, okay? So add that to your backpack of magic tricks. In addition to being a gracious host and being a psychic and da-da-da-da-da, add cheerleader, okay? And pump yourself up, even if you need to have a coffee to do it. You got to pump yourself up because we need to take a quantum leap. You still to this day hear, oh, I don't want to go there. Oh, stamp collecting is that. No, it's not. Take a quantum leap and go virtual. We're having to do it whether we like it or not. And I think on day 2, it's already pretty awesome. The feedback from this virtual stamp show has been great. The stamp chats have been well attended. That it's only getting better. So let's all take this quantum leap in our hobby and promote it. Let's harness this energy. It's fantastic because guess what, people? We can do it. We can do it. The APS has been social since 1886. During that time, boy, how many things has humanity endured, and we're still here. So I just want you to know that, the APS is here for you. I'm here for you. There's so many various social influencers, philatelic social influencers that will help you as well. We're going to carry this hobby out into the future and with strength and determination. Because guess what, people? Where there's a will, there's a way. I love this. These are these little windows from Italy that during the plague, whether you couldn't talk to the bartender, you couldn't get close to them, but guess what? That's not going to stop you from getting your glass of wine. And that's the same thing that I want to impress upon you. No matter what, we will prevail. We can do it. And where there's a will, there is a way. And we have all of the ingredients on our side: innovation, energy, correspondence. We're nuts for that. So thank you so much for joining me on this call today. I'm so happy and so honored to be in front of you. And I am here to work for you. There's my contact information. Sometimes it might take me a couple days to get back to you, but I promise I will. Heidi at stamps.org. Remember, go to stamps.org. for all sorts of information in terms of, well, anything that you need. It's pretty much there. And if it's not, you have my email to figure, to let me know what your questions are. Join the APS. Actually, we have a nice member discount for anyone new. What is it? Go to stamps.org/join now. Enter code VSS, that's Virtual Stamp Show 2020 on your membership application. Receive APS membership through 12/31/2021. And this offer is available to new members only. Join APS today. We'll help you all the way. All right, friends, thanks so much for that. And now, if we have any questions, or if anybody wants to share their experience with how they've built their community, then please, by all means, let me know. Tom Bowman, the man with the postcard. He's fantastic. Like that, but Tom Bowman is an ambassador, an APS ambassador, and he's the one who came up with that postcard. Go ahead.
I tell you what, speaking of energy, I hand out a lot of free stamps to a lot of people, a library, and we just had a fundraiser down the road here, and I dropped a bag off. But there's a guy on here. Where are you? Felix, where are you? You talk about high energy. Did you jump off?
I don't know, but I know exactly who you're talking to. And for our friends that will be watching this on YouTube, we're talking about, I forget Felix's last name, but yeah, he's done the any way possible. This man has had stamp shows at truck stops.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Tom,
for pointing him out. Yeah, he's a heck of
high
an
energy.
Well, I hope that I was able to encourage you guys. I also want to let you know that I'm so thankful for all of your efforts. This is a hobby that is near and dear to my heart, lifelong peace activist. And for me, there's nothing better than what this hobby affords us in terms of getting to know our world on an intimate level without ever having to step on an airplane, which I think is pretty cool. And it's correspondence, it's letters between people. So again, I'm at your service. I'm Heidi Rhodes, Heidi@stamps.org. If I can be of service to you, just drop me an email. Please watch us on Stamp Chat. Subscribe to our newsletter and be the first to know what we have on Stamp Chat. Next week, we start again after the virtual stamp show, Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll see you then. Keep collecting, share, share, share. I'll talk to you all later. Enjoy the virtual stamp show 2020.